Viewers, Times Now's investigation exposing the cover-up of the real Kashmir files is reverberating. It is setting the national agenda, and it is bringing the spotlight back on those who were the enablers of a genocide. Today, viewers, we are speaking with Mr. Anupam Kher, who is not only one of the lead protagonists of the movie Kashmir Files, but also someone who has suffered directly the privations of the excesses committed against Hindus in the valley. Mr. Kher, thank you for speaking to Times Now. I don't know if you watched the India Upfront expose show last night, but we had unearthed documents that showed that the Narasimha Rao government, the Congress government of that day, had said that the pandits, that the Kashmiri Hindus left the valley on their own, quote unquote, and that they cannot be classified as internally displaced persons. How do you respond to this brazen denial of the truth, Mr. Kher?
Well, I want to right now first applaud the filmmaker, applaud the audiences all over the world for embracing this film on such a big note. Today, one of the very famous trade pandit, Taran Adarsh, has called it a tsunami hit. So it could have not happened if it did not touch the emotional chord with the audiences. It would have not been possible. No way. And I don't want to make it into a political debate. Maybe for you it is, but it's unfortunate that the ruling government at that time did not think of protecting, of not calling it a genocide. It is a genocide. The film is not based on fiction. It's based on the 700 people that Vivek and Pallavi interviewed all over the world, especially people who have gone and lived abroad. There's a document there, so it's not a fiction. But their philosophy seems to have not worked, the philosophy of this political party. Otherwise, they would have not been in a situation what they are in today. You know that, and I know that, and I'm sure the viewers know that. Because they have not taken care of their people. They have only been interested in what is good for them. So to call so many people who are left refugees in their own country, and to call this genocide, whatever you are saying, is unfortunate. It's sad. And it makes me feel that they don't have any ground reality. They want to hide things. They want to make it convenient. But I'm glad that we made this film, and it's getting its due now. The fact that you and I are doing this conversation is a great beginning.
Well, there was a double speak as well. So yesterday we reported, of course, one aspect of it, but the Congress went ahead and said something completely different to an international panel of jurists in 1995. So to the NHRC, it said that these people did not suffer a genocide, that they were just migrants. They left of their own will and accord. But to this particular panel, they said that the Kashmiri pandits, what they went through was ethnic cleansing. Now, do you believe the condemnation abroad, but a completely different story to a very, very critical organization at home suggests that there was some sort of appeasement policy that the Congress was embarking on?
They're committing a fraud. They are cheating their own people. I don't think appeasement has helped them. Where has appeasement helped them? Where are they today? At the end of it, truth demolishes all kinds of lies. It does happen. और कब तक छुपा के रखें? That means they were so arrogant that they thought that nobody else will come into power, that their lies and their double standards will never get unearthed. But that doesn't happen in life. That has not happened with anybody in the world. So for them to do something like this, they've got the results, unfortunately, but forget about what they have got. But in the process, what they did to 5 lakh Kashmiri Hindus, what they did to people and scarred them for life, finished them for life, destroyed them for life, and they should have not done this on humanity level. Today, Kashmir Files I will call it a humanitarian film. It is not about Muslim and Hindus, and it's not about that. The audiences have seen the film now. So, to speak to foreign dignitaries in a different manner, and how can they never thought that this is going to be on record, that today at one time and one stage, the Times now will sort of unearth this kind of a thing, and they will ask them, one of the lead actors in the film, that that means it is height of arrogance. Not only arrogance, it's height of insensitivity. It's height, and these people had either no heart or they were so scheming that they thought that they will get away with it. झूठ कुछ देर तक छुपाया जा सकता है, सच को तो बाहर आना ही होता है। बड़ी अच्छी एक लाइन है कि सच वो दिया है जिसे अगर पहाड़ की चोटी पर भी रख दिया जाए तो बेशक रोशनी कम करे लेकिन दिखाई बहुत दूर से देता है। और ये दिया आज सबको दिखाई दे रहा है। आज हजारों की लोग भीड़ में सैलाब लोग देखने जा रहे हैं फिल्म। आई एम नॉट इवन लुकिंग एट इट फ्रॉम अ कमर्शियल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, आई एम लुकिंग एट इट व्हाई आर दे गोइंग टू सी दिस फिल्म all over the world, whether it's in Uganda, whether it's in Kenya, whether it is in Frankfurt, whether it is any city over in Kerala, everywhere, because they are horrified that if any government could have done it to them, that it can happen to anybody. Number one. Number two, they are shocked beyond belief that somebody in the independent India could do this to a minority. Kashmiri pandits were a minority in Kashmir. Third, there's a sense of guilt that, oh my God, why I could not do anything. पता ही नहीं है किसी को ये हुआ है। मेरे कितने सारे दोस्तों के बच्चे मैसेज भेजते हैं, हमें तो पता नहीं था ये होगा, हमें पता नहीं था। is bigger crime than the crime itself, and that responsibility goes on the government who has been hiding this truth.
Well, there's a telling statement in the film by one of the characters that the Kashmiri pandit who was brutalized never took up the gun against his perpetrator.
I say that in personal life. In the movie, it's said by Mithun Chakravarti Saab, but वो उनका character, मेरा character बोलता है वो जब गाड़ी में जा रहा होता है कि तुम लिखना है इसके बारे में। पत्रकारों ने भी, I'm sorry to say that, I'm talking to a media guy. What did the lady journalist of that time do? She said, over here in the movie we have made it into a gentleman, into the person who said that. She said, ये elite class है कश्मीरी पंडितों की, with a conviction. We come from a majority of people who believe whatever is said to them on a national channel or in a newspaper, that must be truth. Otherwise, why will media speak about it? So she said that ये elite class है, ये special class है, इन्होंने सारे मुसलमानों की, they were also creating rift between Hindus and Muslims. इन्होंने सारे इन लोगों की नौकरियां ले ली है, plum positions पे ले ली है, इसलिए ऐसा हो रहा है। तो ये सबने ये किया। हम तो आप सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट की बात कर रहे हो, मीडिया ने भी तो कहा, मीडिया के बड़े बड़े लोग थे जो इसमें बोल रहे थे, हाँ ये भाग गए, इनकी बेटर लाइफ थी, इनको हमने ये तो प्रिविलेज क्लास थी। सो इतने बड़े पैमाने पे इतना बड़ा कुछ हो सकता है। वहां पर हॉलोकास्ट हुआ, आज तक कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकता उनको। दे विल बी अरेस्टेड इफ समबडी सेड अरे कितने लोग मारे गए। इस पर बहस हो रही है। केरला कांग्रेस says 88 people were killed. So now the point, what they are trying to say, that oh, it was not 4,000 people, it was not 2,000 people, it was 88 people. अरे one person dies out of a genocide in any country, then it's a shame for that, for the people and for the government of that country. They're still going on about it. There are still certain people who are saying that there's an agenda, there's a propaganda movie, this is a Islamophobia and things like that. What rubbish are they talking? It's not any phobia. It is not. You go to Jagati camps. Yesterday I did a show for your another anchor, Navika. Everybody was crying. You cannot cry because something, when the truth touches you, it is what has happened in this film. The pain has brought people together. It's not laughter. It's not entertainment. It's not songs and dances. It's not superstars. It is the pain which has brought people together. My character represents the pain. My character, Pushkarnath Pandit, represents the pain of those people. And yet, the character that I represent, 7 lakh people, his philosophy is, हमें अपने बच्चों को पढ़ाना है. वो अपनी आंख का इलाज नहीं करता है. कहता सस्ता लेंस लगा दो मेरी आंख में क्योंकि मुझे बच्चों को पढ़ाना है. And that is what they did even after being thrown out of their. None of them picked up the gun. None of them indulged in violence because that's not in their DNA. That's not they believe in. And yesterday in a show where there were Kashmiri pandits in the audience, they said, "Sir, हमने बाहर जाके नौकरियां ढूंढी हैं, हमने बाहर जाके काम किया है इस atrocities के बाद because हम first example है of आत्मनिर्भर भारत." And he was saying this while crying. But उससे just because you find, because that's how they believe, that's what they believe, that's what Kashmir believed in. Kashmir was the epicenter of knowledge, of art, of culture, of painting, of singing. Where is that thing there now? We talk about that, अरे शुरू में जब आर्टिकल 370 हट गया था तो वहां पर इंटरनेट नहीं था, वहां पर 4G नहीं था. अरे वहां पर कश्मीरी पंडित कहां हैं? कहां है वहां पर कश्मीरी पंडित? और ह्यूमन लाइफ से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है इंटरनेट और 4G.
Yes, there is, you were talking about how people were quoting statistics. There is another statistic that the Congress is throwing about. And they've said that there were more than 15,000 Muslims who were killed in the same period in Kashmir. So what about them?
Yes, nobody is denying that. But who killed those? Who killed those Muslims? 15,000 Muslims. Who killed those? Kashmiri Pandits? No. So even the Kashmiri Muslims have been tortured and a victim of this terrorism. ये स्टोरीज निकल रही हैं तो मुझे पता है उस दौरान जब 1990s में ये टेररिस्ट आते थे, ये मुस्लिम्स के भी घर जाते थे. मुस्लिम्स के घर में वहां की जवान लड़कियों को बोलते थे कि टेररिस्ट, ये आपकी बेटी जो है मेरे इस टेररिस्ट से शादी करने वाली है कल. So even those people are the victims of this genocide. Not genocide happened with the Kashmiri Pandits. But who killed those 15,000 people? They are trying to sort of say that they're trying to make this whole thing into नहीं army ने किया, army ने किया. But उनको भी तो मार रहे अभी भी. They are still going on and on about it. They still kill. I see pictures of mothers and sisters and families and wives crying of a police officer or a police constable. Who is that? That's a Muslim face. Why shouldn't a normal youth, Kashmiri youth, which comprises of Muslims in Kashmir, benefit out of the rising India? Why shouldn't they sort of enjoy the infrastructure, the development? Why shouldn't have been? Now they're making it after the abrogation of 370 article. But why shouldn't they have that done? Because these extremists, these so-called terrorists, these so-called the messiahs of a certain people, they sent their own children outside to study, and poor people, they were giving them 500 rupees to pelt stones. They kept them poor, they kept them deprived so that they could use them for their own benefits. They're leeches, they're darindas. And I'm sorry to say, I'm horrified and angry to see the picture of Yasin Malik with the next Prime Minister of Congress. It burns my blood. It was horrifying. And some people were calling him the youth icon. Why? आज आप हिंदुस्तान के बाहर चले जाओ, कश्मीरी पंडितों ने अपने को बर्बाद नहीं होने दिया. वो हिंदुस्तान को, भारत को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. जब वो वहां पर सिलिकॉन वैली में हो, या डॉक्टर्स हो, या इंजीनियर्स हो, या मैकेनिक, कुछ भी कर रहे हो, उन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी को दोबारा बिल्ड किया. मगर आज जब वो ये फिल्म देखते हैं तो वो जख्म जो हैं, जो उनकी तकलीफें हैं, जो उनका खून रिस रहा है, जो वो सिसकियां हैं, वो थोड़ा रुकती हैं. तो वो सब तमाम लोगों को जो इस फिल्म को किसी भी तरीके से, किसी भी एंगल से इस बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाट दे हैव बीन डूइंग. अरे अनुपम खेर तो कश्मीर का नहीं है, वो तो शिमला का है, उसकी बीवी जो है बीजेपी की एमपी है, और वो तो शिमला में रहा, और वो तो, अरे आपको क्या लगता है कि जो सारे हिंदुस्तानी, इतने सारे करोड़ हिंदुस्तानी हिंदुस्तान से बाहर रहते हैं, तो अगर वो दिल के दर्द, अपने दर्द की बात हिंदुस्तान में हो रहे करें, तो वो सही नहीं है क्या? तो दे मेक यू डिफेंसिव. They will try to discredit you. They will try to they will attack your credibility. But now enough has happened. अब इनको आप, मैं, वो कुछ नहीं कहेंगे. अब इनको लोग, जनता इनको एक्सपोज करेगी, जो हो रहे हैं एक्सपोज. I went to one of the debates and the gentleman sitting on the other side was saying, oh Anupam Kher, आपने तो accidental prime minister भी की थी, आपका तो मतलब ये propaganda वगैरह है. Accidental prime minister I will always rate as one of my finest performances. I can't compromise with my work. I'm not made that way. I'm a trained actor. I cannot compromise just because I have to propagate it. I can write an article, I can tweet it. So they have these people who at that time gave 1 star, 1.5 star, even certain people in this film, which the world is loving, from whether you are whosoever you are, those same people are still trying to sort of say 1.5 star, 1 star. This is beyond gone to this 1 star, 2 star thing. It's not that. Pick up the videos, you know it. The video that people are going and they're crying, and people are automatically then going on stage and saying, saw yesterday somebody, he said, I'm a BSF guy and this is what I want to do. I just got a message from somebody who is a doctor somewhere, and he said, I am ashamed that I did not know this. Just now, while he said, being a sportsman and played highest level of hockey and coach Indian in Olympic, World Cup, Asian Games, I should not be communal, but this movie devastated me, and how much our history are untold and never discussed.
Well, speaking of justice, Mr. Kher, the Kashmiri Hindus knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court in 2017 and the petition was thrown out.
Unfortunately, such an unfortunate thing to have happened. Such an unfortunate thing to have happened. But before that, I don't have anything to comment on it because it's judiciary, etc., etc. But the judiciary, the highest judiciary, has opened their gates for bomb blast criminals, and they could not sort of see the genocide of 4 lakh, 5 lakh Kashmiri Hindus. But what this movie has also done, they have told today's youth, the film has told today's youth, which was unaware of it, the story of their past. People are going with their children. They are going to say, "Chalo, main batati hu aapko ye batate hain." And they are not called Kashmiris, of all walks of life. And I have great faith in today's youth because they may come across as irreverent, but they are very honest. And there is a certain sense of pride in them of being in India because they are born in absolute free India. You and I am sure born post-India, but we still had, our parents still have blues of pre-independence. But today's youth is the future of this country. It's they who are talking about this film. So that's important.
Now, in terms of tangibles, I know you made this film to bring the reality out, but justice eludes. Mr. Kher, and do you think the government should set up an inquiry commission at the very least?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There should be an inquiry commission. There should be a museum, like they have a museum in Poland of Holocaust. There should be people. People should go sympathize with them. There should be a day announced, but this is the day when we will call it whatever. I don't know. There should be an inquiry. People should be hanged who have committed this inhuman, horrific act towards innocent Kashmiri Hindus, or for anybody anywhere in the terrorism in the world is victim of terrorism. But in our own country it happened, and when 32 years back, and it took 32 years for a film like Kashmir File to sort of wake up people from their sleep or from their slumber. There should be an inquiry commission. There should be people should be found out. Why it happened? If they pick up today the Nazi officers, even whether they are 90 years old, they find them out and they prosecute them. Why shouldn't we find out them? Some of them are in the jail. Why shouldn't the case go on? There are videotapes where the person is himself who has committed suicide, this killed people, that yes, it's not from fiction that he says, मैं 20 लोग मारे, मैं अपनी माता को भी मार देता, जी हाँ, मैं अपने भाई को भी मार देता, बोला है. तो inquiry commission सिर्फ लगना नहीं चाहिए. I'll request the present government that they should find these people and they should punish these people. And even if I was not Kashmiri Pandit, I would have said that, because I'm representing also lot of people who are sending me messages, who are talking about all this.
Now, I want to make a specific reference, Mr. Kher, to the videotape you speak of, which is a confession of Bitta Karate, and the travesty is that in 2006, when he was released on bail by a Tada court. Now, this was a very serious charge, Tada. The court said the prosecution was disinterested in arguing against him. Now, do you believe that the inquiry commission should probe who aided and abetted this genocide, not merely those who perpetrated it?
Of course. Nothing can happen without the political will. Nothing larger than life. You can have candlelight visual, those marches, and you can do, but at the end of it, it's the government. So that's why when I talk about this government, they abrogated Article 370, 35A, and so it has happened. It did not happen earlier. It did not happen earlier. So they should be, everything should be, every single thing should be found out and punished, whether they committed the crime themselves of sort of killing people or whether they kept quiet.
Now, Mr. Kher, I've seen your very first film, Saransh. In one of the final scenes, you confront a bureaucrat because you're being harassed by a politician. In some ways, the Kashmiri Hindus have been beaten down by the system that represents or is represented by both the bureaucracy and the politician. Are you hopeful of justice for Kashmiri Hindus?
I'm an eternal optimist, Rahul. Eternal optimist. I am a sum total of keeping my hope alive. I'm a son of a forest department clerk. His name was Pushkar Nath, who used to earn 90 rupees in 1954 and used to feed 14 members of a family together. From that to a person you're talking today, I've done 522 films. It's not only my talent and hard work, it's also because I have been hopeful. Today, Kashmir Files has reached a situation because I have been hopeful. You cannot live, you are dead if you don't have hope. I am hopeful. For me, the ultimate definition of hope is that everything is okay in the end. If it is not okay, it is not the end. If not my generation, if not the next generation, but if the after that generation can go and settle down in Kashmir, I'll be happy. and so will be all the first generation people. And so will be, let me promise you, all the Kashmiri people, Kashmiri Hindus who were thrown out of their houses and killed and butchered and raped.
Now, finally, Mr. Kher, I had Mr. Vijay Kumar Ganju on the show a few nights back, and he said something very scathing. He said that Rajiv Gandhi was aware of the threat to Kashmiri Hindus, but he put his friendship with Farooq Abdullah over the lives, the security of Kashmiri Hindus. Now, this, to my mind, is a very damning allegation, and it is being substantiated also by MJ Akbar, who was in fact the person who heard this entire exchange and told Mr. Ganju about it.
I don't want to talk about a diseased person who is not there to defend himself. It's not dignifying to do that, but it's unfortunate. It's sad. You know, Mrs. Gandhi from the Congress and the country's prime minister became a victim of terrorism. Her son, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, became the victim of terrorism. They were killed, unfortunately. They were the prime ministers of our country, and we cried when that happened. And today, their son does not believe that Kashmiri Hindus need some kind of closure. How can the Kerala Congress tweet what they tweeted? And he is supposed to be the ultimate guy over there. He should learn from his own family what has happened to his party. He should learn and rebuild his life, because he claims to be a Kashmiri pandit. His father, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, was always known as Panditji. Panditji matlab, he was a Kashmiri pandit. So you can't make it convenient for yourself that you are when you are election time, you take out a Janayu and say, "Main Janayu dhari hu." You have to follow what that Janayu represents, which is karma. Dharma and karma both. And there is no shame in that. First thing about this is admit that we were wrong. Admit. Then only the new chapter can begin. And I'm saying it with all my compassion for the gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Kher. Thank you very much.
Thank you.